Hello, students. Welcome back to part 3 of the story The Rat Trap by Selma Lagerlöf. But before I start explaining further, let's have a brief recapitulation of part 2. In my second video, I explained to you that the rat trap peddler went to the Ramschow Iron Works to warm himself in the heat of the furnace and to sleep there for a night. While he was lying near the furnace, the owner of the factory, the iron master, came for his night inspection, and he mistook this peddler to be an old acquaintance, and he addressed him by the name Captain Nils Olof. He thought he was a comrade from the regiment, and he was really worried seeing his friend in such a condition. He invited him home for Christmas celebration. But the rat trap peddler did not want to go to the manor house. The iron master thought that he was embarrassed because of his torn and worn out clothes. He requested him again and again, but the rat trap peddler turned down his requests. At last, the iron master returned home. But then he sent his daughter, Miss Edla Wilmenson, thinking that she had better powers of persuasion. Edla came to the forge, followed by a valet who was carrying a fur coat for the rat trap peddler. The girl spoke to the peddler in a very compassionate manner. She also gave him the assurance that he could leave their house as freely as he came, and the rat trap peddler somehow felt confidence in that girl, and he agreed to go to the manor house. But while they were riding in the carriage and going towards the manor house, the man regretted stealing the 30 kronor from the crofter. Okay, now I'll proceed further. The next day was Christmas Eve, and when the iron master came into the dining room for breakfast, he probably thought with satisfaction of his old regimental comrade whom he had run across so unexpectedly. The next day was Christmas Eve, that is, one day before Christmas, and when the iron master came into the dining room to have the breakfast, he is feeling very happy and satisfied and contented that how suddenly he met his old friend from the army and he could bring him home, and now he wanted to help him. First of all, we must see to it that he gets a little flesh on his bones, he said to his daughter, who was busy at the table. Now, the iron master, he is talking to his daughter, Miss Edla. He said, first of all, we have to see, he's very much concerned about the man's health because the man was really very lean and thin and hungry. So he said to his daughter that first of all, we'll see that he eats well, and so that he can have some flesh on his bones, his health improves. And then we must see that he gets something else to do than to run around the country selling rat traps. And then we have to make sure that he does something better than going around the country and selling those rat traps. It is queer that things have gone downhill with him as badly as that, said the daughter. The daughter told her father that it is really strange that things have gone such way. The circumstances are such that he had to resort to selling rat traps. Last night I did not think there was anything about him to show that he had once been an educated man. And she said last night when she met the man for the first time, there was nothing in his appearance to show that once he was an educated man. There was nothing in his demeanor, in his mannerism to show that he was an educated man. You must have patience, my little girl, said the father. As soon as he gets clean and dressed up, you will see something different. The father gave the assurance to his daughter that have patience. As soon as he takes bath, he gets clean and he dresses up in proper clothes, you will find a different person. Last night he was naturally embarrassed. The tramp manners will fall away from him with the tramp clothes. The father said that the previous night the man was feeling embarrassed because of his clothings, and the tramp behavior will go away with the clothes, and now you will find a different person. Just as he said this, the door opened and the stranger entered. Yes, now he was truly clean and well dressed, and while father and daughter were having a conversation, the door opened and the peddler entered. And now he was looking really clean and he was properly dressed. The valet had bathed him, cut his hair, and shaved him. The servant had helped him in taking bath. He had given him a haircut and also shaved his beard. Moreover, he was dressed in a good-looking suit of clothes which belonged to the iron master. The man was also properly dressed. He was wearing suit of clothes which belonged to the iron master. He wore a white shirt and a starched collar and whole shoes. Now he was dressed like a gentleman in white shirt with a proper starched collar and nice shoes. But although his guest was now so well groomed, the iron master did not seem pleased. But although the guest, who is the guest, the red trap peddler, he was so well dressed, but the iron master did not appear to be happy. He looked at him with puckered brow, and it was easy to understand that when he had seen the strange fellow in the uncertain reflection from the furnace, he might have made a mistake. But that now, when he stood there in broad daylight, it was impossible to mistake him for an old acquaintance. The iron master looked at the man with a puckered brow meaning with crease on his face, with wrinkled brow, with suspicion. And now it was evident by looking at his expression that the previous night, when he had seen this strange fellow in the dim light of the furnace, he had made a mistake in thinking that he was an old acquaintance. But now, while the man was standing in front of him in proper daylight, he could not make a mistake, and he knew that he was not the person he was thinking him to be. He was not Captain Nils Ulf from the regiment. What does this mean? He thundered. Ironmaster, he was very angry and he shouted at the man, "What does this mean?" The stranger made no attempt to dissimulate. He saw at once that the splendor had come to an end. The stranger, the rat trap peddler, he also did not make any attempt to dissimulate, meaning to hide his identity. He knew that all the splendor meaning the good things, the shelter, the good food, the comfort, the Christmas that was offered to him, it is now coming to an end because his identity is revealed. "It is not my fault, sir," he said. "I never pretended to be anything but a poor trader, and I pleaded and begged to be allowed to stay in the forge." He said, "It is not my mistake, sir. I never pretended to be anybody else. I told you that I am a poor rat trap seller, and I requested you again and again to allow me to sleep in the forge. But no harm has been done. At worst, I can put on my rags again and go away." He said, "Still no harm has been done. Nothing has changed. I have not done anything. And again, I'll put on my old and worn out clothes and go away from here." "Well," said the iron master, hesitating a little, "it was not quite honest either. You must admit that, and I should not be surprised if the sheriff would like to have something to say in the matter." But the iron master is feeling cheated. He said, "That was not very honest from your side also. You should have told me your true identity." And he said, "I would not be surprised if the sheriff would like to say something in this matter." Who is sheriff? Sheriff is the law abiding officer. He said he is going to call the police and now they will decide what should be done with him. The tramp took a step forward and struck the table with his fist. Now the tramp is also angry. He came forward and he hit the table. He banged the table with his fist. Now I am going to tell you, Mr. Ironmaster, how things are, he said. This whole world is nothing but a big rat trap, and all the good things that are offered to you are nothing but cheese rinds and bits of pork, set out to drag a poor fellow into trouble. And he repeated his theory of the world, that this whole world is like a big rat trap, and all the things that are offered to you, like the good food and the Christmas happiness that was offered to him, they are like pieces of cheese and pork that which are offered to the rats, and they are like baits to set out a poor fellow into a trap and into trouble. And like he was also tempted by all these things, and now he was in trouble. And if the sheriff comes now and locks me up for this, then you, Mr. Ironmaster, must remember that a day may come when you yourself may want to get a big piece of pork, and then you will get caught in the trap. And he said, if you call the sheriff now, and if he puts me behind the bars, then you remember my words, Mr. Ironmaster, that one day you will be also in the similar position. You might get attracted by something bigger than this, and then you will be in the trap, and then you will remember me. The Ironmaster began to laugh. The Ironmaster found this theory amusing, and he started laughing. That was not so badly said, my good fellow. Perhaps we should let the sheriff alone on Christmas Eve, but now get out of here as fast as you can. He said the idea was not presented badly. He liked his idea of the world being a rat trap, and he said, let us not disturb sheriff on Christmas time. I am not going to call the cops, but you leave my house at once. But just as the man was opening the daughter said, I think he ought to stay with us today. I don't want him to go. And with that, she went and closed the door. But just as the rat trap peddler was about to open the door and go away from there, the ironmaster's daughter, she expressed her opinion. She said, I think that this man should stay with us. I don't want him to go. And then she went and she shut the door. In the world are you doing? Said the father. The father was surprised at her behavior. He said, what are you doing? The daughter stood there quite embarrassed and hardly knew what to answer. That morning she had felt so happy when she thought how homelike and Christmassy she was going to make things for the poor hungry wretch. The daughter felt quite embarrassed because she could not say anything to her father. Why was she behaving in this manner? But she was feeling so happy since morning that she has brought this person home, and she is going to make him feel comfortable in their house, and she is going to make him enjoy the Christmas, and she would make good things for this poor hungry fellow. And she could not get away from this idea all at once, and that was why she had interceded for the vagabond. And this was the reason that she had intervened, or she had interrupted her father, and she had supported the vagabond, the tramp. "I'm thinking of this stranger here," said the young girl. "He walks and walks the whole year long, and there's probably not a single place in the whole country where he is welcome and can feel at home." She said to her father, "I'm thinking about this poor man. He walks and walks the whole year, but there's not a single place in this entire country where he is treated well, where the man feels welcome, and where he can be at peace and comfortable." See, the girl here is this true example of Christian virtues, right? The father was kind to this fellow as long as he thought that he was an old acquaintance from the army. But the girl, in spite of knowing that he is not an old acquaintance, he is not a captain but a poor rat trap seller, she is still kind to the man, and she is feeling for this man that this man is not welcome in the entire country. This is called empathy, true empathy and love and kindness and benevolence, right? So she said, wherever he turns, he is chased away. Always he is afraid of being arrested and cross examined. Wherever the man goes, He is being chased by the people. Always he lives in the fear of being arrested or questioned. I should like to have him enjoy a day of peace with us here. Just one in the whole year. She said, I want him to enjoy one day in the year where he can be at peace and he can live comfortably in our house. At least he has the right to enjoy one day in one whole year. So she is a true philanthropist. She is an epitome of Christian virtues, forgiveness, kindness, love for others, right? The iron master mumbled something in his beard. He could not bring himself to oppose her. The iron master spoke something unclearly, something he murmured, but after that he could not object to his daughter. It was all a mistake, of course, she continued. But anyway, I don't think we ought to chase away a human being whom we have asked to come here and to whom we have promised Christmas cheer. She said, I know it is all a mistake, but it is wrong to chase away a human being or ask him to leave whom we have invited home and whom we have promised all the happiness on Christmas. You do preach worse than a parson, said the ironmaster. I only hope you won't have to regret this. The ironmaster told his daughter that you preach worse than a priest, but I only wish that you will not repent on your decision. The young girl took the stranger by the hand and led him up to the table. Now sit down and eat, she said. She could see that her father had given in. After this, the girl took the man by hand very kindly and she took him to the dining table. She asked him to sit down and enjoy his breakfast. The man with the red trap said not a word. He only sat down and helped himself to the food. The red trap peddler also did not say anything. He also went, he sat there and he ate the food. Time after time he looked at the young girl who had interceded for him. Why had she done it? What could the crazy idea be? But while eating all the time, he was raising his head, he was looking at the girl, and he was surprised at her behavior, that why this girl had supported him. Why is she taking his side? What could be the idea behind this? Why is he surprised and shocked at the girl's behavior? Because he has never experienced such kindness in his life. After that, Christmas Eve at Ramsjo passed just as it had always been. The stranger did not cause any trouble because he did nothing but sleep. After that, the Christmas Eve passed in the usual manner. There was nothing remarkable after this. The stranger also did not cause any problem because after eating, he just slept. The whole forenoon he lay on the sofa in one of the guest rooms and slept at one stretch. Whole morning he lay down on the sofa in one of the rooms and he slept for a very long time. At noon they woke him up so that he could have his share of the good Christmas fare. But after that he slept again. In the noontime, they woke him up so that he could have his Christmas food, a wide variety of food for Christmas. But after eating his food, he slept again. It seemed as though for many years he had not been able to sleep as quietly and safely as here at Ramsjo. Why is the man sleeping so much? It appears that he had never been able to sleep as quietly, as peacefully as he was sleeping at the ironmaster's house. The man is sleep deprived. He always had the fear of being caught. It was mentioned that he was in the habit of sleeping with one eye open. Always he was alert. So now he is making up for all those sleepless nights that he has spent throughout his life, and he is sleeping peacefully here. In the evening, when the Christmas tree was lighted, they woke him up again, and he stood for a while in the drawing room, blinking as though the candlelight hurt him. But after that, he disappeared again. In the evening, when the Christmas tree was lit, they woke him up again. He came for some time, but he was blinking his eyes as though he was not comfortable in the light, and he vanished again. 2 hours later, he was aroused once more. He then had to go down into the dining room and eat the Christmas fish and porridge. 2 hours later, again they aroused him. Then he came down into the dining room. It was time for the special Christmas supper, the fish and porridge. So he came down to eat that. As soon as they got up from the table, he went around to each one present and said thank you and good night. But when he came to the young girl, she gave him to understand that it was her father's intention that the suit which he wore was to be a Christmas present. He did not have to return it. After having his meal, they all got up from the table. The man went to all the people around in the room and he said thank you and good night. But when he came to Edla, she told him that the suit of clothes that he was wearing, it was a Christmas present from her father, not return it. See, the girl is not only kind and good to him, she also gave him a Christmas present. She said the suit he need not return. And if he wanted to spend next Christmas Eve in a place where he could rest in peace and be sure that no evil would befall him, he would be welcomed back again. See, she also gave the invitation that next year, if he wanted to feel safe and he wanted to have a day of peace, he was welcome in their house. The man with the rat traps did not answer anything to this. He only stared at the young girl in boundless amazement. The rat trap peddler, he did not give any reply. He did not utter a word. He just looked at the young girl in infinite shock and surprise and amazement that why is the girl being so good to him? The next morning, the iron master and his daughter got up in season to go to the early Christmas service. Their guest was still asleep and they did not disturb him. The next morning, it is the Christmas day, the iron master and his daughter, they woke up and they went to the church for the early Christmas prayer, Christmas service in the church. They did not disturb the rat trap peddler, their guest, who was still sleeping. When at about 10 o'clock they drove back from the church, the young girl sat and hung her head even more dejectedly than usual. At 10 o'clock, while they were returning from the church, the young girl was sitting with very sad face and her head was hung in more despair and disappointment. At church, she had learned that one of the old crofters of the ironworks had been robbed by a man who went around selling rat traps, because at church they got the news that one of the old crofters of the ironworks, he had been robbed by a rat trap peddler, and she all immediately understood that their guest, he is not only a poor trader, he is also a thief. Yes, that was a fine fellow you let into the house, said her father. I only wonder how many silver spoons are left in the cupboard by this time. The father was also very angry. He said, that was a fine fellow whom you allowed to stay in the house, and by the time we return home, we do not know how much silver cutlery is left. He might have stolen it and he might have ran away from there. The wagon had hardly stopped at the front steps when the ironmaster asked the valet where the stranger was still there. The carriage had hardly stopped at the door when the ironmaster asked the servant whether the man was still there at home or he had left. He added that he had heard at church that the man was a thief. He also informed the servant that they came to know at the church that man was a thief. The valet answered that the fellow had gone and that he had not taken anything with him at all. On the contrary, he had left behind a little package which Miss Wilmenson was to be kind enough to accept as a Christmas present. But the servant replied to his master, that man has gone, but he has not stolen anything, he has not taken anything along. On the contrary, he has left behind a small package which is a Christmas gift for Miss Wilmenson. The young girl opened the package, which was so badly done up that the contents came into view at once. The young girl, she opened that packet, which was so badly wrapped that the contents were already visible. She gave a little cry of joy. She found a small rat trap, and in it lay three wrinkled 10 kroner notes. She saw inside there was a small rat trap, and inside the rat trap there were three wrinkled 10 kroner notes which the man had stolen. But that was not all. In the rat trap lay also a letter written in large jagged characters. But that was not all. Inside there was also a letter which was addressed to Miss Wilminson, which was written in large and jagged characters, meaning uneven, shabby handwriting. What were the contents of the letter? What did the man write? He wrote, "Honored and noble Miss, since you have been so nice to me all day long, as if I was a captain, I want to be nice to you in return, as if I was a real captain." He said, "Honored and noble Miss, you treated to me you treated me like a true captain in spite of knowing that I was a poor retro peddler. You gave me the respect and dignity of a captain. So in return, I also wanted to behave like a true captain. For I do not want you to feel embarrassed at this Christmas season by a thief. But you can give back the money to the old man on the roadside who has the money pouch hanging on the window frame as a bait for poor wanderers." There was a request to return the money to the crofter, and he said that he keeps that money as a bait for the poor people. Poor people, naturally, if they do not have anything, they might get attracted, they might get tempted by these temptations, so they fall prey to their temptations. And he had this money hanging on the window frame. "Please return the money to this man." This shows that the man has realized his mistake and he has redeemed himself. The rat trap is a Christmas present from a rat who would have been caught in the world's rat trap if he had not been raised to captain, because in that way he got power to clear himself. He said the rat trap, it is a gift from a rat. Who is the rat? He is calling himself a rat because, like a rat, he was also tempted by the bait, and now he has himself from the rat trap of the greed and selfishness. And he said, and he could not have been able to do so. He would not have got the strength if you had not given him the respect of the captain. It is all because of your empathy and love and understanding that he got the power to clear himself. Written with friendship and high regard, Captain Von Stall. And he signed also as Captain Von Stall. Why? Because now he was behaving like a captain and not as a rat trap peddler. So, what is the theme of the story? That innate goodness can be awakened in a human being with empathy, understanding, and love. And it was due to the empathy and love shown by Edla Wilmanson that the rat trap peddler could realize his mistake and he could redeem himself. I hope it is clear to you all. Thank you, students.